7:30, OTB AM, you're welcome along. It's Friday morning. Adrian, Owen and Colin with you this morning. Morning, lads.
Hey, Adrian.
Hi, lads.
Somebody was pointing out to me last week about the weirdness of introducing a show as if we've just all walked into the room together at the same time and not spoken to each other once this morning and saying, how are you getting on? But regardless, how's life?
I did not ask you one time how are you getting on. I always save the authenticity.
Well, like, good
air.
morning is like, we've been chatting for the last hour, like.
Yeah. No, all is good. Good to have you back.
Good to have me back.
Yeah, myself and Colin have been, working away since Monday on this show.
Okay,
and it's good to have you inserted, parachuted into.
I've reached that stage in life where I can't remember where I was last Friday, but I'm pretty certain I was here. Colin, how's the mood after last night? So I didn't get to see the game, I'll admit, and I saw the result last night and thought, oof, God, this must have been all right.
Yeah, your plans sounded better than the match itself, because we have discussed how you were this morning. We did go through that, so this is the second take. The match, very lucky Manchester United to get a point out of that. First half was just terrible. Like, it was, I think Roy Keane said in the Sky Sports studio, it was like an FA Cup tie where United are the lower league side and Chelsea are the dominant Premier League one. I would say it was more like a testimonial. United was just walking around, and I can't believe it was 0-0. Like, I'd be looking at Chelsea here, like, what's going on with Chelsea? How did they not win this match? They had numerous chances. Second half slightly better, and then watching the entire match was probably worth sitting through that hour and a half plus just for those couple of minutes in the hour mark. Those two goals were absolutely brilliant. Probably had no business belonging to a match like as mediocre as that, but two brilliant strikes. Cristiano Ronaldo has scored 8 of Manchester United's last 9 goals. He scored all of their last 5 goals. It's just been a disaster for United. Like, if they win the remaining 3 games, they have to win, United, the remaining 3 games, to actually equal their lowest points tally in Premier League history. And also, it's just, the season's going out with such a whimper. I felt I must have said about 2.5 to 3 months ago to Ger and Owen, Manchester United's season resembles, the end of Leaving Cert, when no one's really sure what they're going to do next and where's everyone going to go with the rest of their lives that summer. But it's really solidified now because United's last home game is Monday night against Brentford, and then they're done for the season at Old Trafford, and then they have 2 away games to Brighton and Crystal Palace. It's just such an underwhelming end to the season.
Yeah.
They can still mathematically get 4th, but I think Arsenal only need 5 points, is it, from the remaining games to secure 4th place.
Or to at least finish above United anyway.
Our Spurs can take it too. So I like the season just needs to end faster. Like, you look at Ralph Ragnick, sure, he could be taking another job while he's being consulted at United. And you could actually hear the Old Trafford crowd talking amongst themselves last night. Now, the Old Trafford crowd gets a lot of criticism from rival fans that it's not exactly the most raucous of atmospheres at the best of times, but you could really feel like it was people just catching up and going to the pub, and there happened to be a match on at the same time.
You mentioned there that you're getting to the stage where you don't know where you were last Friday. I would say most people, including Chelsea and Manchester United fans, will be doing well to remember that this game actually happened last night. Next week it'll be one of those things that comes up in a quiz in a few years' time and be like, what?
Because it should be an absolute monster game. Like,
Ronaldo, Alonso, I have no recollection of those goals.
It's got that written all over it. But I mean, even look at the Leaving Cert analogy. Surely, like, you're studying as hard as you possibly can, getting towards the finish line, and you're trying to get. It's like it feels as if they've just entirely given up, and that might not look at when you haven't done anything up to that point. In my case,
no, it's more socially. It's like, what are you going to do with the rest of your life, lads? Like, are you going to college? Are you going to go travelling? Are you going to work or what? And it feels like all the players have different answers to that.
I think United are like, if I can get those points, that number one choice that I have, that everybody knows you really haven't got a hope of getting. Is
it more like the Debs rather than the exams themselves? Like, I mean, at least the exams are kind of like filled with tension in the study hall, and people, as you say, are working hard. Whereas this kind of feels like the actual summertime of finishing school.
You're waiting for the date that you really wanted. That's not arrived. Not on the scene for a couple of months. And, you have to go through the rigmarole of, here's the flowers. And is that what you're saying?
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what I was thinking.
It sticks out like a sore thumb to me when you look at events over the last even maybe 24 hours that Liverpool are at the peak of the continuously upward trend that they're on. Right, like they are challenging for the titles on all fronts, challenging for the quadruple, whether it comes off or not. The new manager has just signed a new contract. Like, when we look back on the trajectory of where this Liverpool crew are at, that form line is still up and up and up, right? Like there's no end to what could possibly be achieved here. Added to the re-signing of Jurgen Klopp yesterday for another couple of years. Like everything is turning out Millhouse for Liverpool. And Manchester United, like based on the performance last night, plus the indications from Ralph Rangnick now that he's signing up as a consultant to the club, they are at the current lower end of a seemingly endless race to the bottom.
The consultancy role was always going to happen. The problem with it is that it's so ambiguous as to what that actually entails. I think what actually is the issue now that's emerged over the last 12 hours or so is that Ragnick, is, even if he doesn't take it, has heavily considered this international job offer with Austria, which means I feel that consultancy role will just die out within 6 months. Well, and this is the same guy who said earlier this week that there's a major rebuild to be done, which I'm very excited to be part of. And I saw someone on Twitter last night saying that rebuild lasted all of 24 hours so if he's going to take this Austria job. And I think that's more of an issue. The consultancy thing was always a bit concerning because it would have made sense if they were to say, well, we'll play to Ragnick's strengths. So he'll take this interim job for 6 months and then he'll be director of football at the end of it. But we just don't know what he's going to consult about. Like, is he just going to be on the end of a Teams call if necessary? Or is he going to be heavily involved?
I do think that is a kind of a crucial point because, like, one thing that we've known from the Eric Ten Hag process that has leaked out that he was looking for absolute managerial autonomy. He didn't want to come in as a head coach. He wanted to have the hands fully on the rein, a la Fergie. And look, it's never going to be quite to that extent, but in that mould, right? So where is the room after that for the consultant? Like, and I know you're saying, like, because it was, Jesus, listen, it's not that long ago that we were talking about Ralph Rangnick possibly appointing himself to the job, and it became apparent fairly quickly that was just a ludicrous notion. This mess that's at United now is clearly not of Rangnick's making, but he sure as hell has done absolutely nothing to improve it. What is the body of evidence for this club to say, based on what we've seen over the last, 5 months, you need to stay at this club in a consultancy role? And is that role, like you say, Colm, is he going to consult on the football side? Because if he is, what's happened over the last 5 months has been an absolute shambles and nothing to recommend into that position. Or is he going to consult on the business side? In which case, what in the name of hell has that guy been doing as the manager of Manchester United for the last 5 months? Whatever the outcome, none of it reflects well on the club.
I have to say, as mad as this sounds, and this will seem even stranger reacting to what you said, which is all very logical, and it's kind of hard to argue with. I actually kind of like Ragnick. I like his candour. I like the fact that he came into the job very ambitious and positive that he could be the man to turn it around, or to turn their fortunes slightly around and improve United's fare to the end of the season. And I think what's happened over the course of the few months that he's been in the job is that the players that he has at his disposal have basically depressed him to the stage where he's coming out and he's like, I can't handle these lads.
Colm, not in that position.
Bit by bit, it was like, look, it's so obvious we need to improve in this area. Did he say they need as many as 10 players after the Arsenal defeat last weekend? And I think he was being kind with the 10. And he's, because at the start he was like, no, we're getting there, like, I have a great squad here. We have a lot of talent. We just need to put some shape on it. And then if it was a film, it would be like 3 months later, and it was like, yeah, we need 10 new players at least. And I wish the new manager very well. And I think Eric's the right man for the job. The same guy who said once earlier, as you said, Adrian, maybe I'll take the job myself. But the reason I like him is that the home truth aspect of it is very cathartic for Manchester United fans who have suffered with this shite for 9 years. And I know it's, you could say it's not the most professional thing to do, to come out publicly and even subtly the way he does it, complain about the players and maybe their attitude and their commitment to the cause. I don't know. Time will tell in 5 years' time if this was a necessary part of United's history. But I don't think he should lose any respect about what he's done in his football
No, but
career,
everybody should go their separate ways after the Debs.
I really don't think that this is his fault, what's happened in the last 6 months. I think he's done his best what he can. Possibly foolish to a point. In the first place, he's only managed for 2 seasons in the last 10. But I don't blame Ragnick in this.
No, but if that's his best, where is the recommendation to keep him on? And he seems
not his role.
He seems like a lovely fella, but I mean, I've absolutely no idea what he's added to Manchester United.
When he steps back, and oversees the actual whole operation, which is what he's been very successful at in the last decade.
So what's he doing on the sideline?
Yeah, but this will be the start of it now this summer. For the sideline thing, like, you know, you go back to Antonio Conte was available. If they really wanted Maurizio Pochettino, just pay the compensation to PSG. But they thought, no, we'll do this interim agreement. And I have to say, I admit at the time, I thought it wasn't a bad idea, because the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer reign had ended so terribly. And I thought Ragnick can maybe stabilise it. And actually he did initially. It wasn't very exciting football, but the leaking of the goals stopped. There was a lot of 1-0s and 1-alls. It wasn't extremely exciting. It's not why you become a Manchester United fan, because of a sturdy defence. But the problem is, in the last month or so, that's gone out the window too. But I do kind of enjoy, as strange as it is to say, I enjoy his demeanour of, like, what do you want me to do with this bunch?
I think he's added to it on that level, like the theatre around Manchester United. I find him very, very funny. And I find him very. I'd listen to a lot of Rangnick, and I know he's not intentionally being funny, but it is very amusing, I think. Not on the level of Roy Keane last night, of course. He was about to launch a full tirade into Ralph Rangnick, who was about to double job between club and international. He was like, oh, I mean, he's a consultant. That's just a murky title. We can't be saying that. What's interesting, what makes this obviously worse for Manchester United fans like Colm here, is the other news yesterday of Jurgen Klopp, as you mentioned there. And I wonder, are we at a place now, looking at Liverpool, where Manchester United were in 2001, 2002, where, say, Liverpool fans, or maybe even Arsenal fans at that point, were like, Ferguson's gone. He's talking about retiring at the end of the season. 10 years later, Manchester United still the dominant team. Maybe it won't be another 10 years with Jurgen Klopp at the helm, but we all thought, 2024, that's it, done. It kind of felt like a done thing. But he seems like they've got this whole new lease of life. He's gonna he's done this before the end of the season, which for me is really important, because he's now got a bunch of time off where there's no summer football for the first time in a couple of years, after presumably winning maybe 1 or 2 more trophies, and he'll just come into next season totally renewed, and Liverpool will be as strong as ever at the end of next season. If that doesn't make Manchester United fans more depressed, then I don't know what will. And the fact that it could go on for years and years and years and years, and it's just a bad day all around for them yesterday.
The classy way even that he announced it, like, coming on, like, you wouldn't see Fergie coming on singing "Don't Look Back in Anger" like some sort of Manchester classic. He sang, what was it, the Beatles song? I'm in love with you and I feel fine.
Oh, I actually...
beautiful. Like,
I mean,
just the classy nature of the man. Like, that's how it all should be done. And I've no dog in the fight, so I'm neither supporter of one or the other.
Why can't Ragnick do that? Why can't he just
yeah, what's wrong? Well, like, United go with, like, Sanchez playing the piano. Liverpool have this lovely organic moment, which you feel he just sort of came up with off the top of his head. But, like, look, the thing about Klopp, and we should luxuriate in that for Liverpool fans, and I think if you're just a general football fan, it's a good thing for the Premier League that Jurgen Klopp has signed up for another couple of years. But, like, it's the club of his life, isn't it? Like, it's the Fergie United, it's the Jose and Chelsea probably. Like, and I know Pep was talking about during the week, that was it during the week or last week, that he'll probably sign up for another couple of years with United, with City. It doesn't feel like that's the club of his life necessarily, given the success that he's had with his own club, but it's the club of his life for Klopp. It's just an incredible thing. And, like, you talk about the succession or the future of Liverpool, like, he'll be there for another 4 years. The guts of the squad that he has at the minute will be sort of like, it's a young enough kind of a squad. There'll be obviously a couple of big names gone out of it, but you can see, like, there's some reports on the papers this morning about, like, it struck fear into the other clubs around the Premier League. Like, it probably has, to be fair. They're around for the next...
It's just beating them when they're already down, I think, rather than striking fear. I think that the point of fear is long past when it comes to Liverpool and Manchester City.
Can I give you my crumb of comfort?
Yes.
On Jurgen Klopp extending his contract from the perspective of a Manchester United fan or any rival fan?
No, please get deluded.
Yeah, thank you. There's nothing to say that he's definitely going to stay until 2026. So maybe, right, bear with me here.
Apart from his newly signed contract.
Bear with me here. He's extended his contract by 2 years in order to attract a better player over the next couple of transfer windows, because maybe he's thinking, well, if the players know I'm leaving in 2024, and a year ago I kind of hinted that I would and leave at the end of my contract, well, then maybe we won't get as good a player, because I won't be there to manage them. So I'll extend my contract by 2 years, but I actually still have every intention of leaving in 2024.
But that's just a conspiracy theory on the level of...
Oh yeah, but it is.
That was a tasty crumb of comfort.
Also, can we just timestamp this, that if it does happen in 2 years' time,
I think we could have every Friday morning slot here with some random, like, conspiratorial thought from Colm.
It's just a thought. It's just a thought, maybe. Now, unfortunately, what will probably actually happen is that he won't just stay until 2026, but he might do a bit of an Alex Ferguson, Arsene Wenger on it and stay here for a couple of decades, because I think by all accounts his family are very happy where they're living, which is the most important
very
thing.
happy. He said, he told
Ula's happy.
Liverpool TV yesterday. If you look at it in 4 years' time, your conspiracy theory notwithstanding, because I would definitely feel in the opposite sort of camp, where if they stay fit and don't get lured away by bigger clubs, from like in terms of the starting sort of 11, 12, 13 players that he could be rotating, Alisson, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Van Dijk might still just be going in their positions. Robertson probably in the pace that's needed for his position. He's probably gone. He'll be 32 at that point. Kanate will be in his prime. Fabinho and Henderson will be gone. James Milner will still be playing. Right? Like he'll be sort of close to 40 and he'll still be around. Thiago is gone. Salah probably gone. Mane as well. But Jota will be in his late 20s, banging them in. Luis Diaz the same. Firmino will probably have moved off to some retirement home like Newcastle. Jones and Elliott, like who knows about those. The point being that he won't need to totally, even in 4 years' time, entirely reinvent that squad. Like when you look at the quiet way they've gone about maintaining the squad over the last couple of years, with Diaz arriving in, the emergence of Jota and those players. Like I think I would be worried if I was a anything but a Liverpool fan.
Can I give you another crumb of comfort?
Okay.
Michael Edwards is going this summer, and one of those reasons.
To Manchester United, because Ragnick's trying to get him alongside to work with him in the office. The office buddies, that'll be a great signing. Look, with Klopp, maybe he won't stay that long.
He will. The connection. There is no bigger connection between a manager and a club anywhere in world football than bigger than that connection right now. Like his. So I actually believe that. Look, Shankly will never be touched for what he did with the club. He totally reinvented it. He brought success, and huge success at that time. He will never be touched. But like the Klopp statue is already guaranteed, right? Another 4 years, probably at least 1-2 more Premier League titles, could win another European Cup. At that point, he's starting to reach the success levels of Shankly. He could well become the most successful manager ever of Liverpool. That's what we're talking about.
Name the stadium after him.
Yeah, he'll have
at least to stand, I would think.
He'll have to do a bit more than that, CV-wise, Wikipedia-wise.
A huge amount.
He's only won one Premier League and one Champions League. He has to keep going for a fair bit.
One Premier League. Yeah, so he's another 2 leagues to win.
Do you know what?
If he wins another Champions League and an FA Cup, then he's past Shankly in terms of success.
I think he's getting carried away, right? I think he's having a great night out in the pub, right? And he's about to go home, and then the lads with him are like, "I'll just have one more." What time are you working tomorrow?
No.
Just have one more. And he was like, go on, I'll have one more. And he's going to wake up in the morning with a massive hangover next season. Mm-hmm. He's going to wake up, massive hangover, and he's like, why did I sign this new contract? I was having such a great time. But it's like that Wall Street analogy, right? Is it like if your stocks keep doing well and you're making money, you think, I'm always going to make money on every punt I make. Klopp's thinking, we're never going to lose again. I'm going to sign a new contract. But they will lose again.
I liked your leaving cert analogy. That last one makes absolutely no sense.
You're having a great time in the pub. And it's very difficult to go home when you're having a brilliant time.
Are the pints before or after the Debs?
The Debs?
Yeah.
No, that's United. United are having the Debs.
Klopp's not like skulking around.
No. Eric Ten Hag's at the Debs.
As a pure red, seen all European Cup wins, says Paul McGee. Klopp is Shankly 2.0. Peter G on YouTube, good morning to you. I feel like the Office spin-off following Ralph Rangnick dealing with the characters of Manchester United would do pretty well. Like that is good. I'm having that analogy straight off the bat. And then Dave Cos on YouTube is offering another crumb of comfort for all non-Liverpool fans out there this morning. Jesus, lads, Liverpool might end up the season after winning only the Carabao Cup.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. And I'm hearing the commentary being like, Liverpool are on the verge of a historic quadruple. They've only won the League Cup at the time of speaking.
That Chelsea last night, do you see them beating Liverpool in the FA Cup final for a start?
No, I don't think so. Chelsea are FA Cup specialists this century. And then they'll play Manchester City in the Champions League final. And then if Pep doesn't go on a jazz solo and put,
big if.
Goodwin in holding midfield ahead of Rodri or Fernandinho, then Man City could win that. And then Man City will probably win the league. So then
what did Liam Brady say?
What's this fraud doing staying on for 2 more years? Like, Liverpool will go nowhere. No trophies to be seen.
If my auntie had, yourself. There's a lot of ifs there, lads. And the body of evidence.
No,
is-
it's
is,
the
all with
quadruple.
Liverpool at
The
minute.
quadruple is if my auntie so far. As we kind of speak.
Yassim says his area of expertise, this is on Ragnick, I presume, is being a football director. His ability to temporarily manage a garbage team shouldn't stand against him for a role he actually excels at. David says Ralph has shown exactly what Manchester United are. Paul says the demise of the Manx is a beautiful thing to see. You'll never walk alone. If not for Ronaldo at 37 years of age, they'll be battling relegation with Everton. Good morning, gents, he says. Also we have Shifty Lad, good morning to you. Morning, he says, watching NFL draft on. I'm a Jets fan and seemingly we've done well. I'm a lifelong Manchester United fan. Can't help liking Klopp. Wow.
No, it's
Bombshell
true, yeah,
there.
that
I
is
want to
true.
see him under pressure though. How angry Klopp reacts would be gas crack. We've already got good insight into that at various points or another. I did watch a little bit of the draft, the start of the draft last night, which of course you are a resident expert in on, having been there
It was in
and
Vegas.
excelled.
It's the 3-year anniversary of your video.
Is
They had various people sort of sidling up the red carpet, celebrities who I hadn't a clue who they were, who had a lot of work done. Donny Osmond was actually one of them, and they'd come up and sort of do their little bit and sidle off. I didn't actually see any of the action after that.
You know what? The NFL draft has completely lost its soul. Like, you just have people going on a jolly, going for a piss up basically at the NFL draft. It's completely lost what it's all about, which is good old fashioned gridiron.
Would you go back? You were in New Orleans, were you?
No, that was in Nashville.
Nashville.
That was like a pretty important part of the whole thing, Adrian. I can't believe you've forgotten.
Right, Colin, you'll be back into us later on to have a rant. I'm understood about Kerry people everywhere, so we'll look forward to that a little bit later in the show.